CBS News national security analyst Aaron MacLean is with us now. He's a military veteran with extensive experience in security. He was also at the dinner. Aaron, good morning. You're with the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Your observations as it all went down.
Well, you know, this was actually my first White House Correspondents Dinner. I was going to ask you, Major, if they're always like this.
Yes. The answer is no.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
No.
We were starting on the salads. People were getting to know each other. I think there was some suspense about what the president was going to say right when the incident occurred. But I will confess, and I know this sounds convenient to say after the fact, but I was perplexed even before the incident about what I saw on security. Matt Gutman just pointed out that nobody was checking IDs. My ID was not checked at any point in the evening. To get into the hotel, all I had to do was show a screenshot of an invitation.
And that crossed your mind initially?
Absolutely.
Before even walking into the ballroom?
I'll tell you what else I thought. Inside the room, security was not particularly close to the principals visibly. So the Secret Service agents who were visible were not very close to the president. There were more people behind that curtain. But as we saw, it took them time to react. Once the incident happened, it was a full 2 minutes or so before anyone came to get the Secretary of War.
What did Pete Hegseth do in that moment?
He was alert. He was assessing what was going on in the room. He was taking care of his wife. I think that was his first priority. Dana White, the head of the UFC, who was also at our table, looked mostly to me like he wanted to get in on the action. His whole body language was straining.
And Aaron, one thing that's on your mind is if this had been a more organized and aggressive effort, you have fears that security would not have been as successful as it was.
This gunman was clearly mentally unstable. His tactical plan was a bit of a joke. That doesn't mean he couldn't have done harm. We're very lucky, and there was a lot of individual valor on the part of the agents involved that stopped him. But you can't test yourself against that standard. You have to look at what happened and ask yourself, what if it had been 4 or 5 very serious people, not one unserious person? Is 10 seconds to get anyone to protect the president good enough? 20 seconds to get him off the stage? I don't think so.
Why did he have his shirt off? Is that common? Every time I look at that picture, I've never seen something like that before.
So this is a holdover. Perhaps it goes before this, but in my experience, it's a holdover of the post-9/11 era when you have the threat of suicide bombers. You want to check right away. When somebody's behaving so crazily and irrational, it's a pretty good chance you have to check whether or not there's explosives on their person.
Do you think there's a problem with the president's detail? This is now, some would say, the 3rd attempt.
Do you believe there's a hole or a weakness in his detail?
I would question the training, the procedures. I would question the standards to which they're holding themselves, the decision-making. You can't just look at something like this and pat yourself on the back that this unserious person didn't succeed. You have to ask yourself what would have happened if it had been serious people. I would also be questioning individual marksmanship. This shooter was not actually struck by any of the bullets that were shot at him.
Wow.
All right, Aaron MacLean, we thank you. I'm hoping
Great to have
that
you
will
with
be
us.
your last dinner going to the White House. They're not like that at all.